And now we move on to Mr. Sachin Jadhav. Sachin Jadhav is working as a lecturer in GPAT Sniper Cell at Shreyansh College of Pharmacy, Aurangabad, and he is CEO of Fundamental Pharmacy Organization. He also has a vast experience in the field of pharmacy and has served as a junior officer and officer in quality control. He handles almost 35 plus WhatsApp group and guide the students to prepare GPAT. He himself has excellence in cracking GPAT examination 3 times. He is also qualified for NIPER 2011. Currently, there are many GPAT books under his publication, and so I would like to invite Mr. Sachin Jadhav, my second speaker. I welcome Sachin Jadhav. Over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so I will start. First of all, I would like to say the all student very good afternoon, and you should not have of GPAT because GPAT is a simple examination that which you are already studying the syllabus in your B Pharmacy. Okay, so we will start this session. So I would like to welcome all, all GPAT 2021 aspirants. So welcome GPAT 2021 aspirants, and in this session we are going to see what is GPAT, what are the benefits of GPAT, why you should go for GPAT, then what should be your strategy, what should be your tip, what should be your strategy for GPAT 2021, and how to study, what are the major subject, what are the minor subject, and which subject you have to read the first, which subject you have to study the first, and then we will see how to study MCQs. Okay, and what are the ideal number of questions to be. So we will start our session. So just I want to ask, I am audible to you or not? Hello. Hello,
Yes, you
sir.
are.
Clearly audible.
Okay. First of all, we will see what is GPAT and who used to conduct the GPAT. So first of all, GPAT is nothing but your graduate pharmacy aptitude test, and it is a test to evaluate how much you are graduate in pharmacy. So in other way, you can say it is a reflection of your graduation in the pharmacy. So earlier it was conducted by Maharaja Sayajirao University, Baroda, and then it was shifted to AICT, and now it is conducted by the National Testing Agency. Okay, so what is the importance and what are the benefits of GPAT? You must know the importance and benefits why you should go for GPAT. Basically, GPAT is important for your masters, like post graduation in your master of pharmacy, post graduation in your master of science or MTech. Obviously, the last two, that is master of science and MTech, you will able to get admission after qualifying GPAT. You have to attempt NIPER examination also, and after qualifying the NIPER, if you got good rank in NIPER, you get admission into your master MS or your NIPER MTech. Okay, so second benefit of GPAT is obviously government fellowships, junior research fellow, government fellowships are there, various government fellowships, you are eligible to them. Then you will preferred in government as well as private sectors. And nowadays, even multinational companies have started the selecting only for GPAT candidates. They want only GPAT qualified candidates. So it is mandatory to qualify the GPAT. So you must focus. You must go for. Then obviously, when you are in your, you will get a stipend of around 2.4 thousand per month for 2 years. Okay, you will get a stipend. Your post graduation will be free of cost if you got admission in government colleges. So your graduation will be free of cost if you qualified GPAT. Okay, then you will be prepared in industry and you will be prepared in academics. Okay, so if you are GPAT qualified, you will be prepared in academics as well as industry. So as I have already told you that most of the companies nowadays started only selecting the candidates who have qualified in GPAT. Okay, and also the GPAT preparation of GPAT examination will also helpful you for the drug inspector, then drug inspector examination, then NIPER examination, then various government pharmacist examination. There are a lot of examination, so GPAT will help you for that preparation also. For example, is your assistant commissioner examination is there, government analyst examination is there. So if you prepare GPAT very well, then you will be benefited for these exams also. Okay, so hope you understand what is the importance of GPAT and benefits of GPAT. Okay, so next slide we will see how to apply and what is the exam pattern. Most of the students know about GPAT, but they don't know what is the exam pattern, how the exam is, and etc. etc. So the applications for GPAT are usually announced in the month of November, December, and exam is conducted in the month of January. Obviously, in the next month you will get your result. Obviously, in February. So it is an exam. It is an online exam. Previously, it was offline, but from I think 2012 they have started the online exam. So it is an online exam of 3 hours, which consists of 120 gives. So the paper is of total 500 marks. So for each correct answer, you will be given as a 4 marks. Each wrong answer, you will be awarded with -1 mark. So there is a 0.25% negative marking. You must understand this. There is a negative marking, and I will say later how to tackle with it. Okay, so we will see the cutoff of last 5 years. So in 2014-15 there was a cutoff around 120. Okay, in 2017 16-17 there was a cutoff of 113 and 115 respectively. In 2018 there was a cutoff of 137. In 2019 there was a cutoff of 141 marks, and in 2020, the last year, there was a cutoff of around 161 marks. And the cutoffs marks are given only for general category. Obviously, if you have your cutoff will be less than 20 marks of general. So I just want to say here that one thing: the day by day competition is going increasing. So you must be prepared for that. Day by day, the cutoff of marks higher and higher. So you have to prepare for that. So if you just want to qualify GPAT, your 40-50 questions out of 125. If you attempted only 40-50 questions, you have to identify 40 or 50 questions. Out of that, if 90% questions are correct, you will easily qualify the GPAT. But if you want to get good rank, and if you want to rank below 100, then you have to use different strategies for that. Obviously, it depends on your hard work, your study, your understanding capability. Okay, so coming to next, how to start preparation and what is the syllabus for GPAT? Obviously, the syllabus is nothing but your 4-year syllabus of B Pharmacy. So all syllabus of your B Pharmacy is there. Okay, so 4-year syllabus of pharmacy syllabus is given by NTA because it is mandatory to give. That's why they have given that. But it is nothing but your 4-year syllabus of pharmacy. The main question most of the students used to ask me, sir, when I should start the preparation? Actually, you should start the preparation from first year itself, but let the first year to enjoy yourself. Okay, so you can start your preparation in the second year or third year itself. That is, you will have enough time to prepare, and after you can start your preparation in second year or third year. Then for our convenience, I have divided your BPharm syllabus into three categories. First one is your basic subjects, second one is your applied subject, and third one is your other subject. So basic subjects are nothing but the syllabus of your first year and second year B Pharmacy. Applied subject is nothing but the your syllabus of second year, third year, and final year. Third year and final year. So what are the different basic subjects? So your anatomy, physiology is there, biochemistry is there, then your microbiology is there, physical pharmacy is there, pharmaceutical engineering or dispensing pharmacy is there, organic chemistry is there. So subjects. And what are the applied subjects? You must understand what is the difference between these subjects. What are the basic, what are the applied, etc. So applied subjects are your like pharmacology, industrial pharmacy, your biopharmaceutics, your medicinal chemistry, your instrumental analysis, etc. Okay, so these are the applied subject, and other subjects are like herbal drug technology. It's a relatively new term, which is previously was known as cognosy. Then jurisprudence is there, biotechnology is there, biotechnology is there. Then your hospital, pharmacy, drugstore, business management is also there. So these are the syllabus. This syllabus for our convenience. Okay, so how to start and which subject you should start first? So you should start the subjects, basic subject first. And why you should start basic subject first? That is there is a reason behind it. So you must start your preparation from basic subjects. Basic subjects in uh, 4 or 5 months. Okay, so I will explain why you need to read basic subject first. First of all, for example, pharmacology is your applied subject. Okay, so it is dependent on your anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and microbiology and pathology. If you know these three subjects, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, microbiology, then you can easily understand the pharmacology. So that's why you need to read basic subject first. If you want to understand pharmacology well, then you have to read these three subjects. For example, if you want to understand the physiology, if you know the physiology of acid secretion in the stomach, if you know the physiology of gastric acid secretion in the stomach, then what are the different factors that are involved in that process? For example, what is the role of histamine receptor? What is the role of your proton pump? What is the role of your prostaglandin? What is the role of your somatostatin? Then cholinergic system, etc. This thing you can easily understand. You can easily predict the classification of that anti-ulcer drugs, and you can easily understand the mechanism of anti-secretory agents or anti-ulcer drugs. So you have to read the physiology first. If you want to understand pharmacology, you have to read your basic subject first, like anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, micro basis for the pharmacology. Okay, in the similar manner, we will also take one more example. In the similar manner, if you know of bacteria, if you know the structure of virus, if you know the microbial process, if you know the how bacteria multiplies itself, if you know the different steps of bacterial replication, bacterial transcription, translation, different enzymes involved in that, so you can easily identify, you can easily predict the classification of antibacterial drug, and you can easily understand the mechanism of antibacterial drug. You need to read basic subject first. Then in the we have another example. If you know organic chemistry well, then you can easily understand medicinal chemistry as well as pharmaceutical analysis, because the organic chemistry is the basis for medichem and analysis. Otherwise, pharmaceutical unit operation, dispensing pharmacy, your physical pharmacy, if you know these three subjects well, you will easily understand the biopharmaceutics, particularly kinetics chapters and kinetic mechanisms, etc. If you know the physical pharmacy well, you can easily understand the problems of stability of suspension, emulsion, etc. So you have to read basic subject first. Is that understand? So next one is what are the different subject and number of possible MCQs from that subject. So subject and their weightage for the GPAT exams. So we have obviously your pharmacology is major one, biopharmaceutics is major one, then medicinal chemistry analysis is major one, cognosy is major one, and rest of the syllabus is your minor syllabus. So I have with my experience, utilizing my experience, I have made one chart. So pharmacology, in case of pharmacology, you will have around 25 questions each and every paper. You can easily find around 20-25 questions from pharmacology. Then you can find around 10 to 15 questions from industrial pharmacy and biopharmaceutics. Then you can find 5 to 7 questions from medicinal chemistry. In the similar way, there is always 3 to 5 questions from analysis, and you can see there is around 3 to 4 questions from jurisprudence also. Okay, so you have to understand this. In case of pharmacognosy, every year you will get around 10 to 12 questions. Organic chemistry, you will get around 5 to 10 questions. I would like to say, because medicinal chemistry, there are only few points important for the GPAT examination as far as medicinal chemistry is concerned. So that's why they are asking more questions from organic chemistry. Even they are asking the questions of 12th level. last year there was a question of SN2 reaction, inversion, Walden inversion. So my point is that you have to if your basic is clear, then you can easily qualify the GPAT. Okay, so in the similar way you will get 3 to 5 MCQs from your that biochemistry. In case of anatomy physiology, you will get around 3 to 4 MCQs every year. Okay, in case of microbiology you get 2 to 3 MCQs, that is mostly particularly from the sterilization chapter. Then biotechnology, you will have 1 or 2 questions. Pharmaceutical engineering, you will have 2 to 4 questions. Physical pharmacy, in every year, you will get around 2 to 4 questions from physical pharmacy. And from last year, they have started asking the questions from your hospital pharmacy also. So you will have around 1 or 3 questions from these 2 subjects. Then you can consider repetition of questions or previous year papers. 1 or 2 questions will be from last year papers, and there may be 3 to 5 questions of calculation. So this is overall different subject and their weightage. Okay, number of MCQs, probable number of MCQs per subject. Okay, so next is tips for example. As per my short as sir told you already that I have qualified in 2011, I have qualified in 2018, I have qualified in 19, I have qualified in 2020. So I have total 4 times qualification in GPAT. Also I have qualified in NIPE also, and a government pharmacist exam also. So if you want special tips for exam, so you have to read the question carefully. First of all, read the question carefully, you have to understand the question. Okay, so you have to read question carefully and understand it first. Identify the term, not, except, or, absent, all. These type of terms are present in the question, so you have to focus on it. Because if you know the answer, but if you have not read question carefully, and if you have not read the except word, your correct answer is going to be wrong. So that's why you have to read and identify the terms like not, except, all, absent, etc. Okay, so you have to read question carefully and understand it, and then you have to answer. Okay, then try to solve easy questions correctly. You can easily find 50 to 60 questions from paper that are easy to solve, and try to solve these questions only with accuracy. Out of 60, your 45 50 questions should be correct, then you will easily qualify. And as your correctness increases, then you are going to be at good rank. And if you want to get a good rank, for example, you want to get below 100 rank, then you must go for at least 80 questions. You must have to solve 80 questions with correctness. The accuracy is important here. If you are how much you are accurate, that is going to be decide your rank. So if you have attempted 80 questions and out of that 60-70 questions are correct, you will get good rank. Okay, if you want to top, you can go for about 90 questions. So out of that, imagine 80 questions are correct, then your rank will be 1. Last year topper, the next session will be delivered by her. So she was getting around 320 marks. So if your 80 questions are correct, then you will get rank. 80 means 320 marks. Okay, and my personal advice will be, do not try to solve problems involve the complicated calculation. You have practiced it too much, because to solve the problems you need practice. You need the calculator either or log table either. And as per my experience, they will not going to provide you any type of calculator. They will not going to provide you any type of log table. So it is better to leave calculation problem unless and until you have practiced it. And you can solve the problems like allegation method problems, child dose calculation method problems, then your proof calculation problems. Simple calculation problem you can solve. But if it is involving volume of distribution, clearance, etc. from biopharmaceutics, then it is better to leave that. Okay, so in the next slide, to study MCQs. So most of the student says that it is enough to study. To say yes, it is enough, but the manner how to study MCQs is also important. For example, we will take only 2 or 3 MCQs. I'm not going in details. So I will take only 2 MCQs. So first MCQs is you will be able to see on your screen. So first MCQs is which anti-inflammatory drug is selective COX-2 inhibitor, and your options are acetaminophen, nimesulide, diclofenac, celecoxib, and nabomethone. Okay, obviously the answer is option D, celecoxib. But you should not stop here. So you have to read each and every information regarding all options. If you, for example, acetaminophen. What is acetaminophen? It is also known as paracetamol. It is a analgesic and antipyretic drug. So it is a phenol derivative. Then it is a selective COX-3 inhibitor in the brain. Then what is the adverse effect? So it has and that hepatotoxicity is because of which metabolite? That is known as para-hydroxybenzoquinone. So you have to read each and everything about the option. Second is nimesulide. What is nimesulide? It is also anti-inflammatory, analgesic, antipyretic drug. Okay, so nimesulide, it is a then mechanism. It is a preferential COX inhibitor. Okay, so it will inhibit COX-1 as well as COX-2, but it will preferentially inhibit COX-2. Okay, then it also has selective hepatotoxicity. Then it is banned in India. So these things you should know about each and every options. You can study in this manner also. Then third option is diclofenac. You can memorize what is diclofenac. Anti-inflammatory drug, antipyretic. So it is a aryl acetic acid derivative. Okay, so it is aryl acetic acid derivative. It is also preferential COX inhibitor. Then you must recall what is the major adverse effect of diclofenac. So it has a gastric irritation. So that's why a new drug has been synthesized that is known as aceclofenac. Okay, so it is also banned in the veterinary practices. Then option D, your answer is option D, celecoxib. You must know the celecoxib or coxib category, they are selective COX-2 inhibitor. But most of them are banned in India because they have adverse effect. So you must know these things. Then next option is nabomethone. So nabomethone, out of that you should able to recall nabomethone is a naphthalic acid derivative, and it is also a product. It is anti-inflammatory analgesic drug. Okay, so this is just a way how to study MCQs. You can study MCQs in this way. I will take one more MCQ. Last 2 years they have started asking the question from medicinal chemistry about the structures. For example, identify the structure of given beta blocker on image. So your options are propranolol, bisoprolol, pindolol. So in that case, there is one trick. You have to see what is the heterocyclic ring. So in this structure, there is a heterocyclic ring that is known as indole ring. So match that indole with your options. Example, pindolol. So it is the structure of pindolol. So in this manner, you can read the structures. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to me and watching this slides, this presentation. So, and if you we have currently 2 books published. You can order that from Amazon Flipkart. They are available on Amazon Flipkart later. I would like to just say that if you want to just qualify, just go for 60-70 questions. Out of that, is 40 questions or 50 questions are correct, you will easily qualify. And then if you want to good rank, then you must go for around 70-80 questions. And if you want to see yourself in the top 50 or top 100, you must go for 80 questions. Obviously it depends on your skills, your hard work, your knowledge, your understanding capability. So you have to prepare in this manner. And I would like to say one thing here, that if you don't have knowledge, then no one is going to ask you in the market. Okay, if you go for the interview on the gate of any pharmaceutical company, no one will entertain you they will not receive your. Even for the B farm fresher, the salary is less than that salary which is one which salary is less than that of guard or security guard. Even a B farm fresher gets salary than that of that is salary given to the that security guard. Means watchman is getting more salary than a fresher B farm. Why this is because of today is there a major lack of knowledge. Students are not knowledge, students are not get developing their skills. So my advice will be, try to develop knowledge, try to get knowledge, and try to develop skill. Try to make your hand on various type of instrument, like your UV is there, IR is there, mass spectrometer is there, particularly the HPLC. If you have single instrument, if you have hand on single instrument like HPLC, you will be able to get any kind of job in quality control. You will get easily, because most of the pharmaceutical analysis is based on your so if you get the skills, you can get easily the job. Okay. Okay, thank you. I would like to thank you to the organizing committee, and I would like to thank you most respected teachers and sirs. Thank you very much.